Hey, I'm blind and I've been using my cane for about 2 to 3 years now, pretty solidly. And I thought I'd put this video together to help those of you all who are at the forefront of either cane training or using your cane in public. Maybe my story will help someone. I don't know. So I thought I'd put it out there. And, initially I just want to start by saying for those of you who get harped on by people who say, you got to use cane, you got to do it, that's not cool in my book, because it's not easy. And I don't think anyone understands how hard it is till they have to go through it. Because there's a lot of embarrassment. And another big part of it, for me at least, was coming to terms that this is happening. I'm going blind. And that alone is hard. And, that's not easy to admit or, think about, or, that's a lot of sleepless nights. So to begin with, I did do cane training. And like probably many of you out there, I did it. I had a great instructor, did it all. Then, basically at the end of my class, at the end of the course or whatever, I, threw the cane under my bed. And it's the end of that. I'm not using that. No way. I don't need it. So, who knows? I guess a lot of other people may have gone through that. I sure did. So how did I do it? How do I become a regular cane user? Well, it started out, it wasn't one thing that happened. I didn't like fall off a staircase and say, oh no, I got to do this. It was, although I did fall at the gym. That sucked. But anyway, it was kind of more smaller things that happened. And something I like to do was I like going on walks. And I'd be on my walk, and it just got to the point where there'd be times I'd be like, oh man, it would be nice to have my cane right now to kind of get through this situation or whatever it was. And what I did is I bought a smaller cane that wasn't suited for my size. And I actually did this. I had a hole in my cargo shorts, and I could slide that cane in there. I'd clip the other end to my belt loop with a carabiner so no one could see it. And then when I needed it, I actually did this. I would pull it out and I would use it, to get through the situation. And then I, bumble through the rest of my walk. So I did that because, I didn't want anyone to know. But inside I knew. And from there, we would go out at night, meet friends for dinner and drinks. And I have RP, and the first thing that goes is night vision. So I couldn't see anything at night. So in that situation, I would bring that little cane, hide it. And then, you'd have a beer. And let's be honest, after that, you're a little less self-conscious. And, I started using the cane. That worked. And I realized having that cane solved another problem. Because one of my big fears was I was going to run into someone and, man, they were going to get mad at me because I knocked over their drink or something. And with the cane, it let other people know that I was visually impaired. And, that's actually a big part of the cane, is to let others know. So that's another thing I had to, understand, learn, and, identify with. So from there, I continued on using the cane more and more throughout my day when I needed it. You start growing more and more comfortable with it. And after a while, you're not going to believe this, but I feel naked without it. If I leave the house without it, it's like, whoa, where's my cane? It's wild, and it will happen to you. I guarantee it. Once you start using your cane regularly, it will happen. So that's pretty much how I got to where I'm at with my cane use, and again, for those who harp on others, you gotta do it, that doesn't help, because I think a lot of those people either didn't go through it or forgot how hard it really was at the beginning. So that's pretty much it. I know everyone has their own path, but maybe this will help. I know this is a long one, so hope it does help someone. And until next time, keep on smashing blind.